All right, today we're going to go way beyond just single AI models. We're talking about building and managing entire teams of them, and we're going to see how it's done with a really powerful framework called the Agent Development Kit, or ADK for short. So, let's dive in.
This question really gets to the heart of it all. A single large language model, that's like having one brilliant mind working on a problem. It's powerful, for sure. But what happens when you bring together a whole group of specialized AIs that can collaborate? That's when things get really interesting. This is the world of multi-agent orchestration, and it's exactly what the ADK is built for.
But hey, before we can build a team, we've got to understand the individual players, right? So let's start with the absolute basics. What even is an agent?
Okay, so an agent isn't just your everyday general-purpose chatbot. You got to think of it more like a specialized worker. It's an AI that's been designed with one specific goal in mind. Maybe it's checking facts, maybe it's writing code, or analyzing some data. It uses a large language model as its brain to think, reason, and plan out its next moves.
So how does an agent actually do anything in the real world? Well, that's where tools come in. Honestly, you can think of tools as superpowers that you give to your agent. They're what let it break out of that conversational box and actually interact with the outside world. Pulling data from APIs, running searches, executing code.
And the ADK is incredibly flexible here. You're not locked into just one kind of tool. You can grab pre-built ones right off the shelf, like Google Search. You can write your own custom functions. You can even pull in tools from other popular AI frameworks. And, this is my favorite part, you can actually use one agent as a tool for another agent. How cool is that?
And here's a perfect example of why this is such a big deal. Just by giving an agent a simple Google search tool, you unlock this powerful capability called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG. This basically means your agent isn't stuck just using the information it was trained on. It can go out, search the web, and find the most current, up-to-date info to make its answers way more accurate and relevant.
Okay, so you've built your agent, you've given it some awesome tools. Now, how do you actually work with it? Well, the ADK provides a really thoughtful developer experience, giving you 3 different ways to interact. Let's see how they all fit together.
This really covers the whole development process. When you're trying to figure out what's going on and debug things, you've got this amazing visual dev UI. If you just want to do a quick test, you can hop into the command line interface and chat directly. And then, when you're ready to go live, you can integrate it programmatically right into your main application.
And I gotta say, this Dev UI is an absolute game changer, especially when you start working with multiple agents. Trying to debug one AI is tough enough, but this UI lets you trace the entire flow step by step. You can see exactly which agent said what, which tool it used, and why. It just turns what could be a confusing black box into a clear visual story.
All right, we've got the basics of a single agent down. Now for the main event, unleashing entire AI teams. This is really where the ADK's magic comes alive, letting you assemble multiple agents that work together to solve problems that would be way too big for any single agent.
I love this analogy. A single agent? That's like a highly skilled specialist, a great programmer, a great researcher. But a multi-agent system, that's like the entire department. You have different agents with different roles, all collaborating, delegating tasks, and combining their work to achieve a much, much bigger goal.
So to really see this in action, let's check out a fantastic example, a system called the LLM Auditor. Its whole job is to take a statement, automatically go fact-check it, and then fix it if anything is wrong.
So here's how this little team works. First, a user gives it a statement. Then, the critic agent jumps into action. Its only job is to be super skeptical. It uses its Google search tool to find out what's true. Finally, it passes what it found over to the reviser agent, whose job is to take that feedback and rewrite the original sentence to make it factually correct. It's such a clean, elegant little workflow.
So you might be wondering, how does that handoff happen automatically? Well, that's the job of a special kind of agent called a workflow agent. You can think of it as the project manager of the team. In our LLM Auditor example, a specific type called a sequential agent makes sure the job flows perfectly from the critic to the reviser all on its own, with no human in the loop.
Okay, so we've seen a cool example of an agent team in action. But let's zoom out for a second. Why does this all matter? Why would a developer pick this framework over all the other tools out there? What's the real value here?
Here's the bottom line. Most other tools give you the building blocks, but they leave the hardest part. Getting all those blocks to work together, totally up to you. That means you're stuck writing all this complex code just to manage the conversation between agents. The ADK, on the other hand, is a higher-level framework. It handles all that tricky orchestration for you, which makes building and maintaining these powerful workflows so much easier.
So, to wrap it all up, these are the key wins with ADK. You get to build modular systems that are easy to manage. You have really flexible workflows. You get that awesome integrated developer experience with the UI and the command line. And on top of all that, it even has built-in tools to evaluate how well your agents are doing, and it's designed to be production-ready from day one.
And at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. As a developer, you want to spend your time on the fun, creative stuff, the actual logic and strategy of your agents. You don't want to be worrying about servers and scaling and all that infrastructure headache. ADK's goal is to take care of all of that for you. And that really brings us to the big final question. The technology to build not just one AI, but a whole collaborative team of them is right here. It's becoming more and more accessible every day. So that just leaves us all with one thing to think about. If you could build your own team of AI agents, what incredible problem would you solve?